Da, 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 da. Welcome back.
Welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour.
Or welcome.
Where we're still Christina and Ingrid.
Yes.
Or Ingrid and Christina. Depending on, if you want to follow the alphabetical order or not.
And I didn't know that you had to do that.
I had to do for what?
For alphabetical order.
For what?
For when you do introductions, like with shows. Yeah. Once you told me that, I noticed it. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of.
Yeah. Unless there's some other if someone is super famous and someone is not, then sometimes they do the super famous.
They'll just be after Ingrid.
Someone's older, then.
Oh, then you should go first.
Then I should go first. Age before beauty, so to speak.
Fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Thought you were gonna protest, but okay.
Nope.
Anywho, so well, we're gonna dig deeper, but today we're starting a little series called the Life Kit series, which we forgot to change the thing in the back, but that's okay. It's supposed to say Life Kit if you see this on YouTube. More about that later. How was your week?
Week was good.
Yeah.
I think, what is it? Mars is on retrograde.
What?
Christina doesn't know. I've been feeling a little off. And usually something's on retrograde. So it's just, I'm not sure what it is.
I don't even know what that means.
No?
No.
Oh, I'll have to say.
Is that astronomy?
Yeah. It's like the universe. So it's usually when it's.
I only know that I have a hard time sleeping when there's a full moon. Because of the gravity pull.
Some it goes along that lines, but usually the energy's a little off. You usually get more headaches, a lot more pressure. But I've been feeling a little off. I had a good week, just a little off, but nothing I can say that's why I'm off.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So my week was good. Thank you for asking.
Where's my coffee?
But talking about when things are off or scary situations, we saw the movie Leave the World Behind with Julia Roberts. It's a new one. And it's kind of one of those cyber attacks, the whole everything, like why all the networks, everything is just not to destroy the movie for those of you that haven't seen it, but everything is shut down.
Okay.
Like cyber goes in, cyber attack shuts down Wi-Fi, all communication. And it could happen.
Yes.
I mean, but it's a really scary. Talk about being off. It's just yeah.
You know what? I just thought of something.
What?
Maybe that's why I'm off. I saw, talk about movies, there's a Netflix series or episodes, Mindhunters.
Okay.
And it goes into the minds of serial killers. And what happens. Maybe that's why, because my mind is pretty off. But I thought to myself,
should we be worried?
No, you know what
Should
I thought
be
of?
Worried
okay,
about
so you know what I just thought
next
of?
To you? Close to you?
Talk about Life Kit. You know what I thought of when you just said the movie? Someone has to come up with the script. So is that person okay? Because some of the stuff that
I think after the pandemic, a lot of things it's not that far-fetched, these things anymore.
Right. It's a little puzzling.
Could happen. Hey, could happen. Anyway,
so
we digress. That's just so
that distracted me. But I was
Ingrid is a little off, and I saw a strange movie. And
it's in the universe.
Do you have a hack for how to not be off, or no? Some other hack?
Yes, I have a hack. So the boys, a little older. My young one is 11, and sometimes he likes to have warm breakfast.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm not able to.
Gosh, so high maintenance. Just kidding.
Yes. Oh, it's nice. He likes
Mm-hmm.
it. He likes his. He's a foodie. He
Yeah.
loves his food. So I bought them a hard-boiled egg maker,
Okay.
which when I told Christina, she's like, "You don't know how to
Yeah.
boil
I was a
eggs,"
little like, do we need to have that class?
but he makes them,
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want
and
my 11-year-old to maybe boil eggs on
yes,
the
so no stove.
forget to
He puts
turn the
them in.
stove up.
It
Yeah.
has a measurement with the water, how much water, depending on
Oh,
how hard boiled he wants it,
okay.
and then he makes that.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
he loves it, and it beeps when he's done. He goes up, gets ready, comes downstairs, and he takes them out, put them in ice, and has his breakfast.
Nice. I like
So
that.
yeah,
That's good.
easy peasy.
Yeah.
How about
Little
you?
uh, being a little independent.
Yes.
So I shocker have a cooking hack. I have many, but
I
one
haven't
I
heard
thought
any cooking
about
hacks.
because I just did it this week, and it's actually my friend Kira van der Borsch, shout out, who did this, and I just thought, why haven't I done that?
Mm.
So I love to roast vegetables in the air fryer, which I've talked about, and I usually just do salt and pepper, but I like a lot of flavor, and I do like to mix things up to not have the same over and over all the
Mhm.
time. So, to spice up, say your um, cauliflower or broccoli or whatever, peppers, whatever you want to roast, put a little yellow curry on them. So,
Mm.
salt and yellow curry with a little olive oil.
That's spicy?
It's not that spicy because curry is a mixture of like turmeric and ginger and a bunch of different things.
Huh.
Although I did get one, an authentic one from Asia. So yellow curry is more Indian, whereas red curry is more Thai. But Indian, so yellow Indian curry.
Hmm.
And I got one that was from India. That one is a little spicy, so good. But anyway, just putting some curry just to kind of mix the flavor profiles up a little, and it's a great way for you to introduce to your kids a little different flavor
Hmm.
profile.
I've
If you're
done
not
cayenne or
there's
Cheyenne,
but
cayenne.
cayenne is that's spicy. That is the spiciest dried spice you can get.
Oh, well, they like that. I'm the one that doesn't like spicy. They like it.
Oh, okay. You should not use too much because that's not good for you.
Oh,
No. Cayenne
well,
is that's spicy. Yeah. Anyway, but yellow curry is I love curry. I love Indian food, but sometimes it can be a little daunting trying to but then
I
just
enjoy Indian
adding it
food.
to your vegetables
Okay, I'm gonna try
is
that.
a great little flavor enhancer.
Love it.
That's my gift to you today. Anywho, so moving on to our life kit series. So we thought of, or actually it was Ingrid was the this is Ingrid's brainchild, or the idea behind life kits. Because we talk about personal development and lifestyle and all those self-development things. And we have our first aid kits and style kits and all those things.
Emergency kits.
Yeah. So life kit came as a great idea for in our toolbox of self-development. What are the things, what are the areas we should kind of look at growth and look at um, making sure we're doing what we can.
Mhm. And we've talked about most
Mm-hmm.
of them. However, we figured some of them or most of them are going to have guests. So we're really
Mm-hmm.
going to be a little bit more intentional
Yep.
of tackling these topics or
Yep.
these life kit topics with someone else
Mm-hmm.
and really
Yeah.
giving you guys a little bit of a twist, a
Well,
little more,
experts in
yes,
fields. Yeah.
that way. And it'll be quite a few episodes,
Yeah.
but it will be really intentional to giving you more of what we've talked about.
Yeah. So should we go through the areas that
Yeah,
we
a little tease. Yes.
Yes, the areas, the life kit areas where self or growth in growth and knowledge
Yes.
is a good idea. Number one, and we're going to touch on today, not with a guest, but with something we actually heard in another podcast and built upon. Number one, personal growth. So strategies for personal growth and self-improvement, and which we have touched a lot on, but you can never grow too much, right?
No, because
Because if you don't grow, you die. I might say that again today. Who knows?
So the next one is productivity tools.
Which we have touched on, but we haven't touched on all of them.
There's always more tools.
Always more tools.
Next.
Health and wellness, which we love to talk about. But again, so many areas we have not touched on.
Yeah, that one's going to be.
Yeah. That's a big one.
That's a big one. Next one is financial management,
which we've talked about a little bit with the 6 jars, but bringing in an expert to really think about what we need to prepare.
And if you're listening to this and saying, "Oh, I know someone," or
yes,
"Oh, I have something for this," please let us know.
Or you might be an expert in this field, any of these topics or these fields yourself, then let us know.
Yeah. Next one.
Next one is career development. Also touched on, but so much more to dig into.
Next one is relationships and communication. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Communication.
And then mindfulness and self-care, which we've done more on recently, but so much to dig into.
Right. Next is learning and education.
Because if you don't learn,
yes.
But you all know the importance of being the lifelong learner. Talked about that a lot. Then we have organization and decluttering. One of my personal favorites.
I wonder if we can get those girls from, what is it?
The home edits?
Yes.
We can always hope.
Hey, we can try.
Who knows?
With that, goal setting and achievement. So
that's
my goal.
That was such a good segue, wasn't it? That was good. Yeah. So those are the tools in the life kit that we have identified.
And they won't come out in this order. No. These are just the topics that
we're going to mix and match. But we've kind of looked at the topics we wanted to dig more deeper into, kind of in this life kit, under this life kit umbrella.
And just offer you all avid listeners a little more.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're open to what you guys suggest, because we want, obviously, the listeners to listen more. So if we have something that you like to talk about, then you'll share, and sharing is caring.
That's correct.
So that is a little rundown of our life kit.
Yes. So what to expect going forward. And again, we don't know the order. We'll see the order. We'll mix and match.
Yes.
And some that we already have dug into a little more in the past, we maybe won't touch on as much as some of the others we haven't.
So you never know.
Never know.
Okay.
All right. So today we're going to go into the personal growth, the first one, and something that we've talked about habits and goals, and we did the Q1 check-in, but I heard of a concept on another podcast, and I can't remember which one it was because I listen to a lot. But they just brought this up as one sentence, and it really stuck with me. And I wrote it down to not forget about it. And then we decided, hey, let's dig deeper into this subject. And it's the subject of standards, and standards versus goals. We set goals, and we set, we don't do New Year's resolutions, but goals for ourselves. But what about our life standards? That standards really are the secret sauce to success. And just looking at standards from our own lives. So in my case, when I think about it, is standards is like uh, the
Non-negotiable.
non-nego exactly, not the bare minimal, but the non-negotiables.
Mhm.
You set your standards. So for instance, I've talked about this before, but with kids, it's so important that not just tell them what to do, but you show standards within what you do as a family or how
Mhm.
you live, because that I think that will create more for them than making them do things or telling them to do things.
Mhm.
So for instance, for us, it's been in our family, it's been grades is one of them. Like you set the standards from an early age that if you notice that the child doesn't have any difficulties learning, it's, you set high expectations, high standards when it comes um, s- to grades at an early age. And then that's what they're going to aim for. That's going to be a non-negotiable for them going forward. Of course, like you can fall below at certain points, but then gosh, my standards are higher. That's
Mhm.
not where I should be. So that's just something from my own family that we do. Anything else? Do you have a standard set within your family unit that you keep high?
I think, well, standard goes with expectations. So I do
Hmm.
more the grades also,
Hmm.
but I also do behavior.
Hmm.
Behavior
Hmm.
or even hygiene.
That's a good one. Yeah, the
It's
standard is to shower every day.
yeah, but even with what you like, how you treat people. There's always
Mhm.
people say, oh, it's okay. That's all they can give. No, no.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
an expectation
yep,
and a standard, and those two things I think we have control over it.
yeah.
So, and this is obviously something that we're going to go over, but
Mhm.
that's what I always tell my children.
Yeah,
My standards and my expectations for you
yeah,
are never going to go below.
yeah.
Like that's just
And you know what? It's so important that and I it's funny that we haven't discussed this before and that we haven't thought about it, because I do think we take standards for
granted.
for granted sometimes with ourselves, because they're kind of innate within
Mhm.
us. Um, but I do think it's something that is so important to bring out, because goals are, can be high, super lofty, but standards are, no, they're the foundation. So, looking into standards, why it's so important, we have a list that ChatGPT helped us with, amongst others.
Mhm.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, standard versus goals. Why do we need to think about and really articulate our standards? Number one, consistency is key. So standard is really our north star. They keep us on track. So when the goals kind of shift, or goals can change, your standards will not. Um, they are the ones that guide you through it. So, and then we said, the GPS, the goals can change, and we've got a new route, but your standards are set.
Mhm.
Number two, always room to improve. So again, standards is not about hitting that one home run or one bullseye, but it is more like shooting for the stars, landing on the moon.
Mhm.
And keeps the standards will keep getting you better and better. Because if you have a high standard and then you want to improve yourself, I mean, the only way is up, right?
Yeah.
So always room upwards for improvement. Number three, playing the long game. So standards are not the sprint or the goal to achieve within a quarter or a year or has a time. Standards have no time set to them.
That's just what you do no matter what.
It's what you do no matter what. So it's when we're playing the long game, we're playing according to our standards. It's not about winning the race. And number 4,
Dun, dun.
rolling with the punches. So when we don't hit our goals, but life changes. As I said, the GPS to our goals will change. We will re-navigate. But that's where the standards stand out because they are the safety net that helps us get back on track and
Mhm.
bounce back from. Yes, we can all uh, perform a little below our standards sometimes, but
We get complacent.
yes. Uh, Number 5, right?
Yes.
Yes. Quality matters. I love this. We know good is the enemy of great.
Hmm.
So standards are all about being great, not just good. Um, and that's really how you set a quality standard for yourself, your work, family life, behavior. But it is your own quality check mark.
Yeah. I would tell you something for quality is, the children have AR goals,
Yeah.
for reading. So for those of you that don't know, they have to read a certain amount of books and take testing.
Yep.
So last quarter, we had, so they have like 9 weeks. So I have the teacher say, hey, Sebastian's a little behind and I'm like, how is he behind? It's 9 weeks to create the minimum.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So like there's standards
Uh-huh.
and there's like, hey, room for a little bit of improvement. So within a week, he did what he needed to do in a week. I'm sorry. He did what he needed to do in 9 weeks in 4 days.
Oh. So then
So
he's maybe need to set the bar a little
exactly. So with
higher.
standards and goals, sometimes we set ourselves for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
what is it? Mediocrity? Mediocre,
mediocrity. Yeah,
because that's a win. He's like,
yeah,
Mom, I finished.
yeah,
I go, yes, you finished, but you should have finished in 9 weeks and 4 days. Therefore,
yeah.
there's new standards and new
Yes,
goals that are going to be in
yes.
place. But we do that. When you
Mm-hmm.
said that, I thought of, there's times that we don't give ourselves enough credit or
Yeah,
we don't push ourselves enough
yeah.
because a small win is okay. And you only die once.
That is correct.
So you need
Yeah.
to push. If you're listening to this, your standard or your goal that you just thought of, you should bump it up a little bit.
Well, I mean that's the difference, I think, and that's an important distinction. The goals you can bump up and take
Yes.
down, and your standards are your set.
Right. But I believe sometimes our standards are, we de-level our standards because we're scared or we're not sure. So
Hmm.
even our
Yeah,
standards, like our standards that we have for our children, are sometimes a lot more strict than what we have for ourselves.
oh you mean, oh well, it's good enough.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, but good is the enemy of great. We already talked about that.
Okay, next one.
Next one is find your drive.
Dun,
So
dun.
yeah, the standards could be, goals can feel like, especially when there's a time to it, it can feel like it's a chore. Like, oh gosh, I got to do this. I got to finish this. I got to do before this certain time. But standards are more like your personal cheerleader. They're the
Mhm.
pep talk that you get. Like, no, no, you can do this. We do this all the time, and really, yeah, help you reach the goals. Number 7,
Mhm.
plan for the worst, aim for the best. Again, standards help you stay cool under pressure by setting a solid foundation and a solid baseline. Yeah. So, like, it's no way we're going to perform less than because we never do.
Mhm.
And instead of trying to cut yourself cut yourself short or go off track, then you know what? This is the base.
I
We're
think
not
of
going to
never
fall
give
behind.
up, never surrender. That's not a movie. This happens when you watch movies.
Oh,
see,
I just watch movies about doomsdays. All right, this one is one of my pet peeves. Okay, walk the walk. Walk the talk, or talk the walk, or whatever. So we can all talk big, right? Like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, your standards are speaking for you. They are really what shows what you're doing when no one's looking.
integrity.
Absolutely.
That is, and it's funny when we were reading the notes, I said, "Oh, Christina, this is your pet peeve."
Yes.
And I work with so many people. It's different. You work with people that pay you to work with them. I work with people that not necessarily would ever pay me and probably don't really like me sometimes. So I've learned
not as an esthetician.
No, as an esthetician.
I was gonna say
they love me. But when it comes to knowing like your standards,
yeah,
I've learned to listen and know that the disappointment I feel has nothing to do with me because I know they're not going to do what they said they were going to do.
Oh, because there's standards are. I think a real proof of things going in the wrong direction is when you yourself start lowering your standards.
Yes. And
when you're like, that's when you got to pick yourself up by the bootstrap and get back, because the minute you start lowering your standards, you're going in the wrong trajectory.
And the good thing is if you notice. The bad thing is when somebody else has had to tell you.
Well, that's so true.
I will always tell you.
Good.
I hope you do the same for me.
Yes,
actually, not I hope. She has.
I can't help it. All right. So number 9. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yes. So standards, yes, are about you, but it's also setting standards for your friend and your podcast. Or as we talked about, family standards, corporate standards. If you have employees, then you set a certain standard for what is expected or what is the minimum or the baseline for what your company is doing.
They say the speed of the leader is the speed of the gang.
Yeah.
So again, standards. You can't. You said this earlier. You cannot expect something to be this great if you're doing okay.
Yeah.
It's just.
So that's the, and as parents, that is our job in the family unit, and as leaders, it is our job within our organization.
And I will tell you, talking about family is when you talk about standards, sometimes I think, you figure that one out. How I grew up is not what I do.
Yeah.
So at times, if you find yourself thinking, oh gosh, like I don't know what my standard is or what I want it to be, just kind of think about what is it you would want for someone to speak of you. And then you can kind of figure out your standards. So sometimes we don't know what our standards should be or we want them to be.
Yeah.
So kind of sit back a little bit and see what is it that you would want to be known for or accomplish, and then you can kind of tweak your standards that way.
Yeah. No, that's a good. That's a good, and I'm going to end with my favorite quote after we finish this, which talks to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I have 2 favorite quotes. They will both come. So number 10, last one, and here it is: if you don't grow, you die. I say it again. So goals are about getting you from A to B. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to finish this. I want to accomplish this. But standards are the GPS for life. Isn't that such a nice analogy? So they help you grow. They help you learn. if your standard is, you know what, I learn something new every day, that is a pretty good standard. That is a very good way to increase your personal growth and open your mind to new things. So really becoming, and I think this is where we maybe fall short sometimes. What is the best version of you? What is your standard for yourself? Like, where would you want your standard for your best self to be? What are the things? I think that would be a fun list to do.
Yeah.
So here's my other favorite quote from the very smart and fabulous Coco Chanel. And it's so appropriate for this podcast too. She says, always keep your head, your heels, and your standards high. That is the secret to life.
Love it.
All right. So yeah, standards. I don't know why we haven't even touched on it before, but it really is.
We just expect people to already know.
Important. Yeah. I'm going to go and think about what other standards I have for myself.
All right.
All right. We hope that was helpful in your life kit as a little first tool in the life kit toolbox.
And stay tuned, because we may have someone that's an expert in personal growth and standards and helping us. Maybe if you're having trouble setting them, we might have someone to help us do that.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
All right. Until next time.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.